We can groove, we can jive, the groove dive. We got that groove, we got that jive, we got that groove, we got that jive, the groove jive.
Today's episode is on hip hop in the South. Before we even touch on the South piece, let's talk about hip hop.
I'm the cannons, like that wild style, freestyle. Man, I'm about to go out in the South.
What does hip hop mean to you?
I say it's definitely a culture, almost a religion. I feel like hip hop is like black culture in motion. So everything that happens with black people, like you can find it in the music. So whatever our plight is in this era, or whatever we going through, or what we like, what we don't like, what we wearing, how we talking, like you can find that out in hip hop. And that's why I say it's black culture in motion. But yeah, it's how we dress, how we talk. Like hip hop is the world, really. Like hip hop sets the trend for the world. They follow hip hop. Whatever we do, that's what they gonna do next.
Absolutely, Mo pretty much summed it up. Like hip hop for me has been a constant influence, just from a little girl on. Like I never was into other types of music as much as I was into hip hop. I never been an R&B girl. Like I was in the 6th grade begging for Volume 3 by Jay-Z. Like that's the type of person I am. So hip hop for me has just been a constant influence. It's just been like I named my business after Kanye West. Like just certain things, the way I move has kind of been dictated by hip hop culture.
Man, for me as an artist, it's everything. Is how I express my emotions. It's my source of income. It's crazy she say religion, because I looked at rappers that like they was preachers. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z was T.D. Jakes to me. You know what I'm saying? Like I will study how he delivered his message. So yeah, man, I'm a full-time artist. So hip hop, I am hip hop. Hip hop
is my life. It is the way I think. It is the music I play. It is the food I cook. It's everything. It's the way that I choose to shop. I mean, what I shop for. Southern hip hop has really influenced a little bit of everything, not just in the music business, but us just quitting our jobs and being entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the South. T.I. was a big trailblazer for that. Honestly, linking entrepreneurship with hip hop and making it cool. So I would say that hip hop is me. I'm just a part of the movement.
Okay.
I want to change my answers to Tasia.
Man, when I think of like folks in hip hop who just kind of like gave me life lessons, you know, you got your, especially from the South, you got your Zeros, right? You got your Big Crit, and then you got Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane, he taught me what sauce meant. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just, and that's the beautiful part, is just, you know, how hip hop itself is a religion, or how it influences how we act, right? So let's talk about the South. What influence do you think the South has had on hip hop?
I feel like, again, we were the trendsetters. So I feel like in the beginning, when it was just like New York and it was just like LA, I feel like it was real black and white. It was just like, this how you write a rhyme, this how you supposed to rap, this is what hip hop is. I feel like in the South, like, we do whatever and make it cool. It's no right or wrong way to do it. So in Dallas, we got the boogie movement. That's still a part of hip hop. We started making dance with hip hop. Trap music, like that's a subgenre of hip hop. Trap music started in the South. Chopped and Screwed started in the South. So it was no right or wrong way. We started doing our own thing and making it the right way, like making you like it. It's still hip hop. You're gonna fuck with it regardless.
Yeah, I would say Southern hip hop has become mainstream hip hop. Like it was a time when, you know, in the beginnings of hip hop, where it was, you know, you had the underground movement where people weren't as acknowledged, where now UGK is getting the shine that they should have got 20, 30 years ago, and people are acknowledging Scarface as one of the best lyricists in the game. But right now, the South is on top. The South been on top for a long time, really since the early 2000s, like with Ludacris and T.I. and Young Jeezy, when the real trap movement, like people who was really, you know, in the trap, that music has been on top now. So now everybody is chasing that sound. Everybody wants a Mike Will made it. Everybody wants, you know, to screw their songs. You know, everybody wants that Houston sound. You know, everybody is trying to emulate what the South has been doing for 20, 30 years. So I would say now that hip hop in the South is hip hop. If you got a dance track, you got to have it pop in Atlanta or Houston, because those are big nightlife markets.
That's true.
So you really not in hip hop if you're not touching the South.
I'm from a small town in West Texas that I'm sure no one's ever heard of. Shout out Big Spring, Texas. And where I'm from, it's hard to get an identity because you're in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows who you are, where you're at. So you kind of learn who you are. You kind of learn what you like, what you prefer, how you want to look, how you want to sound, how you want to dress, because hip hop gave me an identity.
So you said identity. So would you say that hip hop has had an influence on who you are and your whole people?
Oh, I am hip hop.
Okay, so let's take it one step further. What influence do you think the South has had on hip hop in general?
Well, I think it's multi-layered. I think hip hop, the Southern influence that it had on hip hop really is entrepreneurship. And what I mean by that is obviously we had entrepreneurs in hip hop before the South became prominent, but the do-it-yourself attitude, the independent mind state started with us. I mean, you could also credit Too Short with that as well in the Bay. Shout out to Too Short.
Outside of Gucci Mane, you know, Young Jeezy, T.I., who else do you think are the pioneers and the OGs from the South?
I would say you gotta put 3 6 Mafia super high. They got Oscar. you gotta talk about those people. UGK, of course. Like
I'm saying Master P.
Master P?
Master P.
Okay.
The whole Cash Money movement.
Before Scarface, we didn't have respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think people like really thought it was horses. We were riding horses
Right.
around there. But when Scarface came, like we got that respect as MCs. Like,
That's true. Like I'm not from the South. Like I'm a Southern transplant. So I grew up in Detroit. Then I lived in Houston. So like when I first moved to Houston, everybody was like, "Oh, are you going down there riding horses?" I'm like, Houston is the 4th largest city in the country. Like,
I think like Erykah Badu.
Okay.
It kind of opened up the gateway to neo soul, but it drove attention to Southern hip hop because she kind of was like in between. She was R&B, she was hip hop, so it kind of paved the way for us females in hip hop as well.
Okay, so expand on that. Like, how do you think she really paved that way for females in hip hop?
It gave us that gateway, that leeway to show our talent. It gave us a chance because people weren't looking at really females in Southern hip hop like that. She was like the one like, shoot, I'm gonna be different. Like I'm just gonna rock on out. And it was one of the things, is like she was so cool and she was so eye-catching. It brought more attention to the South and women that were in hip hop, just Southern hip hop alone. So it kind of gave us that platform to kind of get our talents out there. Just because she's dope, she done paved the way. And it's like, you know what, maybe we need to pay a little bit more attention to the South because these women out here got something a little special.
I would say Wayne. Definitely.
Wayne?
Yeah, Wayne. I mean, you got to think with Wayne, you know, when he broke through, you know, you wouldn't have a Drake, you wouldn't have a Nicki, you know what I'm saying, without Wayne. So I would say Wayne is definitely the biggest.
I probably have to agree with that. I would say Wayne is definitely the biggest. I mean, Cash Money as a whole, Birdman had one of the biggest deals ever, right? And he influenced a lot. And if you look at the label of Cash Money right now, going back to the artists that influenced Lil Wayne, he brought in Nicki Minaj, he brought in Drake, and right now they are probably the top biggest artists in the world.
Hands down.
Who do you think were some of the biggest labels that came out of the South?
No Limit.
No Limit?
Yeah, because just like you're saying, like, it took a lot back then. I feel like he was the first person to, like, go outside of the label and be like, I don't need you, and I can do this by myself. And am I going to put my money forth by myself? And I'm going to make, he sold like 75 million copies on his own. So he's the reason that people are favoring the independent route now. At first, you wasn't even thinking that. You was like, I need these labels. They got to get behind me, or else it's no other way. Where he was just like, there is another way. I'm gonna show you. Then he did No Limit Films. He did No Limit Communication. Like, he making movies. He made his own production company. Like, it just didn't end with rap.
And Little Romeo was on Nickelodeon.
And he was
Shout out to Nickelodeon back in the day.
He was really putting people on. Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah, you kind of, No Limit is a great example. You kind of got to hit the obvious ones like Rap a Lot. I had the honor to sit down with Jay Prince and kind of talking through that. So Def was really dope. Like, it's a lot of, and you know, if you really want to consider who, not necessarily a label, but who've been tastemakers, you got to talk about Missy and Timbaland because they out the South too. Like,
Cash Money did. Rap a Lot.
Ooh.
They make twerk music. Okay? Twerk music came from the South. Trap music came from the South. Swisher House.
Swisher House.
Big influence.
You also got to remember, in the South, you kind of don't have a choice but to grind hard. So, you know, a lot of these businessmen, you know, they were put out in the fire. You don't have the outlets that you have in New York. So you had no choice but to go hard.
Okay.
And I think LaFace, a lot of people sleep on LaFace. I mean, all the artists that they had out of LaFace, from Alicia Keys, Usher, TLC. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. T.I. started with LaFace, but they just weren't that popular as far as like branding wise.
Facts.
You know, L.A. Reid was more behind the scenes.
So why did none of y'all mention So Def Records and Jermaine Dupri? Like y'all forget, like So Def, especially doing Freaknik.
Slip and slide.
Slip and slide.
Yeah.
Go out in the South.
Yeah.
Samsonite, my nigga, keep my name up out your mouth.
Yeah.
Coming through, nigga, I'ma bring that to your house.
Yeah.
And on your spouse. Wait, hold up. Look, I'm still tipping on phone phones.
Yeah.
Getting high with my bros.
Yeah.
Sweet talking them shorties when they showing up to my shows.
Yeah.
Exercising my mind every time I'm writing down these flows.
Yeah.
Feeling like I'm the goal. Nigga, you should take notes.
Yeah.
No, now they just thinking I'm tripping. Said I'm gonna be a musician, they told me to quit it, but I didn't listen. Ay. I said with all due respect, I'ma get it regardless. Fuck your permission. Ay. They do not like the resistance. Ay. Now I'm here in this position, and not because I was just chilling. I come from a country where nothing is given. People that barely have pot just to piss in, and I had a vision. I'm on a mission, now I'm gonna kill it with my lyricism. I'm up in the room thinking like it's the kitchen. Off of the top, knew it was written. I roll up an eighth and I'm sipping the fifth, and I'm off of some green and I'm literally chipping.
If you look at Beyonce has a whole bunch of Houston influence in her music, even though she's not a rapper. Like, you can see when she screws her music or some of her sound or her twang, or when she does that rap singing, all that is Houston influence. She's a girl from Third Ward, so she grew up listening to Swisher House and Rap a Lot and all those main Houston people. You know, she got tracks with Slim Thug, and she was hot at the same time when Houston had that run when Chameleonaire was hot nationally. And Mike Jones was hot. So you got to kind of give Beyonce and Destiny's Child that kind of history too. Like, they had a similar sound, even though they weren't rapping. They kind of put Houston sound on the map too.
Beyonce the female Michael Jackson. That's it. Like, just yeah, you can't really argue that.
No.
So what about you?
I'm saying Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
Why Lil Wayne?
I mean, Lil Wayne is, I feel like it's just as close as Beyonce is to my, like, as far as being a big face and name and brand. Like, Lil Wayne is the biggest rapper there is.
So many came before though, but I feel.
I mean, I feel like Lil Wayne is like one of my favorite rappers. So
and
Lil
Wayne
he came from the South.
Yeah, and then
he turned pop.
And not only that, Lil Wayne has been in the game for so long. When you think Lil Wayne been rapping since he was 9 with Cash Money, and he's still making music. Like,
I know.
And he's a trendsetter. Like, he had all types of people with other colors saying bling bling, and kind of he created a movement in the culture where you got white women talking about, look at my bling bling. Like, you know, Lil Wayne is responsible for that. So I agree with the words.
Okay, Wayne fans, what do you think?
Outkast, man.
Okay.
Just to piggyback off of that, when I was in high school, everybody wanted to be Wayne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody wanted to drop, like, I think the mixtape, like rapping over other people's beat, like, he really influenced that. You know what I mean? But yeah, Outkast, you gotta say that.
I'm gonna take it back and say Uncle Luke. Because without Uncle Luke, there'd be no, like, preservation of hip hop. Without Uncle Luke, you wouldn't even have Freaknik that opened the doors for Atlanta to become Black Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about cats who, without Jermaine Dupri, without, you know, Uncle Luke, without, you know, cats like Jay Prince, you wouldn't have the sound that you have right now, that we can talk about these, you know, current guys. There are people who are laying the ground woodwork for that. You know what I'm saying?
Granted, people in Texas don't consider Virginia to sound like, and it's a departure from what hip hop was, where you were looking for that. You had to, you know, if you weren't East Coast or you weren't West Coast, so where did you fall in between? And Virginia has more of a Southern sound than any other place, so you got to kind of think about them too. Like Timbaland and Magoo for a long time was running hip hop. For real. Yeah.
Pusha T.
For real, Pusha T. Yep, that's facts. What about you?
I'm gonna say Rap a Lot.
Rap a Lot?
Ghetto Boys. As far as then that branched off to Scarface or whatnot. Yeah.
So is it safe to say that Quality Control is a big Southern label?
Now, yeah.
Sure.
They gave us
like,
Migos.
They got like 10
artists
popping right now.
No, they're in a good position now. I just want to see, you know, where, like, you can be on, but how you gonna stay on. So I just want to make sure, like, before I just be putting my all into them, like.
Cash Money and that.
No Cash Money? So Young Money or Cash Money? That's the.
Well, Cash Money. Even though they kind of had like a rough couple years, so like you gotta think you got Juvenile out of Cash Money, you got Lil Wayne out of Cash Money.
Manny Fresh.
And then because of
Yep.
all those people, then you got people who are hot now. Then you got the Young Money. So without Cash Money, it wouldn't be Young Money.
You wouldn't have a Drake, you wouldn't have a Nicki, you know what I'm saying, without Wayne. So I would say Wayne is definitely the biggest.
I probably have to agree with that. I would say Wayne is definitely the biggest. I mean, Cash Money as a whole, Birdman had one of the biggest deals ever, right? And he influenced a lot. And if you look at the label of Cash Money right now, going back to the artists that influenced Lil Wayne, he brought in Nicki Minaj, he brought in Drake, and right now they are probably the top biggest artists in the world.
I would say Pimp C. I'm not even from the South, I'm from the West Coast. And I mean, I remember sitting like with my family just listening to the music, and I didn't know nothing about Chopped and Screwed, nothing about anything from down south. And I was just like, okay, it sounds like it has its own distinct sound.
You know what I'm saying? He like a god almost in rap, you know what I mean? And like he started trap music in my opinion.
You think Gucci started trap music?
Yeah, or at least like he got it to the younger crowd, because when you listen to T.I.,
Okay.
that was just like.
So you're Gucci. What about you?
I'm saying Gucci too, but I think you could credit it to both T.I. and Gucci. I feel like T.I. is the first person to actually say this is trap music, like to label it as that for people to like accept. Okay, this is trap music. But I feel like Gucci was rapping trap music before he ever said this is trap music.
Yeah,
like you feel like you in a trap when you listen to Gucci.
It's the difference between the sound and the, like if you taking it as a sound or you taking it as face value. Were you trapping? Before it was a sound, like people who were actually physically trapping. Like we know T.I. got a record, like he was literally trapping. So when you think about it, it kind of depends on which aspect you're talking about. Are you talking about the sound, or are you talking about the actual physical? I'm a snowman like Jeezy, like I'm out here moving weight. Are you literally trapping? So.
And then you just tell by all the artists that came behind Gucci, man. You know what I mean?
All those people who got the same sound,
You can tell they look up to him, because for him he was the leader of trap.
Okay.
Complimentary flows, these are not to be sold. I never show my hand, that's why my enemies fold. These raps ain't written, but it was written in stone. This God's calling, hopefully I'm here to pick up the phone. People say that they proud of me, but I need that from family. I need to know it's fuck with me and not fuck you. I need to know where your gun's pointing when it's time to shoot. I seen friends jump side and stood right by my side. Look me right in my eyes, it only killed me inside. It still eat me alive, they want me dead or alive. They look me dead in my eyes, truth is they telling me lies.
Okay. So we got the cities like, like Louisiana, right? Cash Money, Young Money. What other cities do you think, either have pushed forth that Southern sound or don't get enough credit?
I don't think Houston gets enough credit, honestly, because a lot of
He ready for you. He's like, say it coming. I think he got something for you. He got some smoke for you.
Well, I think a lot of the sound and a lot of the influence that you hear in music now has a Houston influence. And then I think when Houston had its moment, it was very short-lived. When Houston had its mainstream moment, like in the early 2000s, when Slim Thug got signed into the Neptunes, and when Chameleonaire was out and Mike Jones was out, it was very quick. Like the wave didn't last very long, but the sound stayed the same. People still screwing music. When you listen to Drake music, you hear all that Houston influence that he has borrowed and taken on. I don't think Dallas get enough credit either. Like when you think about,
he was ready for you. He's like, you better say Dallas.
Well, I think Dallas has a lot of stuff stolen where people come and hear the sound or see the dances and they keep it for themselves, just like Lil Will with My Dougie, and then you got the whole Cali Swag movement stole that whole thing. People steal from the South all the time, like I say, like, but again, like Houston or like DJ Chose had popped that, and then French Montana came and flipped his track, and it was the #1 single. So I think Texas in general has a lot of its culture stolen and repurposed in other things. People think that's new, and it's like, no, they've been doing that in Texas for years.
And a lot of that is like we lack the independent labels. You know what I'm saying? We lack the infrastructure, entrepreneurship. So like Lil Will, he took a 360 with I can't remember who, but if he was attached to some independent label in Dallas, that would never happen to him. But we out here like trying to figure it out. Somebody said earlier we like pioneers, and pretty much like we cutting like down the grass, like you know what I'm saying, we making that lane for ourselves right now. So shit, I consider myself almost an OG. You know what I'm saying? I've been out here like 10 years plus working this Dallas scene, and it's really just get to where it's going. So you got people like 10K, And shout out to like the Young Nations and the DeRose, and they open them doors for people now.
I always used to say, like, without cats, you know, when I saw Ray Sherman blow up, when I saw Migos blow up, I felt like Young Nation got cheated. Because Young Nation, like, they had, like, I was doing all the little moves they had, like, they had the melodies, the schematics, like, everything was staggered in the way what we listen to right now. And if you didn't spend time in Dallas, you wouldn't have that appreciation for Young Nation.
It was ahead of their time. And shout out to Thug Boss Nation.
Oh.
Yeah. Like they was that pioneer, and then it branched to Young Nation, then the Nike Nation, then 10K with the Roll and all.
So, okay, so what's the system? Like, give me like spark notes on that. What do you think?
I think in Dallas, you have to already be. Once you're popping in Dallas, you're popping everywhere else. Yeah, it's not like you some traction. Yeah, it's not like you can start in Dallas and Dallas radio's not necessarily get behind you. Now, granted, that might just be because they know they've done, you know, they have marketing people who are doing the studies to say it's Dallas gonna support a song they never heard. But, and I also think it's getting better. Shout out to K104 because they have the segment where they put on new music and local music on Sunday nights, right? Yeah, so it's changing, but there hasn't been an opportunity for local artists to get, you know, radio play because they want you to already be popping to be on the radio here.
So, you know, I think something that's just I'm hearing from you guys is that there's a big gap for these local artists, right, to get their sound out. You know, whether it's from Dallas, whether it's from Houston, whether it's from other areas of the South and the South. So how do we?
Not a big gap to get it out because I feel like at the same time we're in a social media age, so like you can get you don't need the radio no more. Actually, like who really listens to the radio? So you listening to your own selected playlist off of Apple Music, off of Tidal, off of, you know, you already created a playlist. So it's really up to you to build your brand enough for somebody or to make quality music for somebody to be like, hey, he's dope, you should listen. And then when they listen, if it was worth the listen, I'm gonna keep listening. Mm-hmm. So you gotta, it's up to you now. It's really not radio fault no more.
That's true. She kicked it on that one. You dropped the mic, you gotta build your own brand.
Right, so you don't need radio and you don't need labels pretty much, but you do need capital. So
ooh,
that's what takes it.
So, you know, speaking of capital, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine about social capital, you know, and how like most entrepreneurs when they started. I'm gonna expand on that. I'm expand on that. So most entrepreneurs, you know, especially when it's a standard form of business, you have your capital, you create it. But we live in such a digitalized era now where you can, if you know enough people who can support your product, whether it's through social media, tell them, you know, if you might have 10,000 followers, you might have 3,000, I might have 1,000, you might have 5,000. You know, you made a comment about slipping through and making, you know, being the pioneers, right? And that's something that the South has done since the beginning of just this music thing, right? That we're speaking of, you know, whether it's like creating things like Freaknik to have a platform for artists to show their music, right? Without Freaknik, Ludacris, who is Chris Lover Lover, would never became Ludacris, right? Without, you know, just without mixtapes, without jigging, without the dances that you guys have done, right? A lot of artists who became famous would not have became famous without the dances. You know, and I think without the 808 beats, right? Everybody wants to hear 808s. You go to any commercial, even if you don't like hip. I was watching this the Tiffany's jewelry commercial, and that A$AP Ferg. A$AP Ferg is a New York rapper rapping.
It sounds like what?
And the beats were Southern. I said, gee, what's going on? You know, in a way, the South kind of saved hip hop. You know, so how do you guys think the South saved hip hop? Oh, you got a mouthful. You thinking about it now.
I mean, I think it took overthinking out of hip hop. You know, it's not about the lyrics, it's about having a good song. So whether you're getting that good song from the melody, from the hook, you know, from the lyrics or from the beat, you know, it really doesn't matter as long as you have a good song. So
hey, that was well put.
Agreed.
That was very well put. Like you said, just the overthinking part, I feel like we're just naturally got flavor. So if you go to New York, you gotta be a lyricist.
That's true.
Yeah. On the East Coast, you gotta be able to spit. Down here, it's not about necessarily lyrics. It's about how you feel.
The feel,
on the music,
the vibe.
the vibe of it. If it makes you feel good, I don't care if you saying da 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 da, but if that make you feel good, it's gonna go. Not saying that's what the South music is at all, but like you said, the overthinking part, you know, of it is what we brought to it.
Good song is a good song, man.
We make hits.
I would say that the Southern hip hop culture has pretty much influenced just actually going out to the club to have a good time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a DJ, so I know for a fact that majority of the music that I'm playing, it's Southern influence. That's what's making everybody dance, shake their ass, like, you know what I mean? Like, in all honesty, like, the South has really influenced just even going out to a club, something that small, that simple.
Man, he don't need no beat. He spit that heat like we all bunch of black people on that BET. Get that EBT flow so like I'm ET at that alien. Flow so ill, I write in braille. Yeah. I be on my shit, man, slower than a snail. Goddamn, I'm ill, and I tongue that with a nail, and I'm not even a rapper, man.
But we both, I think we all have like an understanding of like the pioneers, you know, the influences, and how the South has played that key factor, right, in the culture, right? So, how do we yell from here? How do we bridge that gap between the South and the rest of hip hop?
What do you mean by that? Where's the gap?
Where's the gap?
Well, I feel like, you know, I'm gonna speak for myself, right? People up north, we don't play enough like Southern music in the club. You know, like we'll listen to 1 or 2 tracks, we're like, yeah, that vibes. What we'll do is that we'll take Southern beats, or we have, you know, I call them diluted producers, right? We have producers who make Southern beats, and East Coast rappers will spit on them. So you see like cats like Fab, you know, Tekashi 6ix9ine, a lot, you know, even 50 Cent trying to make an 808 beat. No Southern producers, you know what I'm saying, but for the sound. And so it's like we are making Southern music without Southern producers, without Southern artists. And so for me, that's like an intellectual gap between like, why are we still not going down to the South to make that music? Because if you think about how Southern music first started, it started with cats like, you know, like Jay Prince and, you know, even No Limit, trying to take New York rappers and bring them to the South to make Southern records. And they couldn't make that sound. So they told them to go back home. So if they were doing that back then, why are we not bridging that gap now?
I think,
she got ready.
She's already bridged on a higher level. Like, I mean, everybody listens to Southern music, right? I think that's more of a question for like an up-and-coming artist, if that makes sense, right? Because the up-and-coming artists aren't really getting played in the East Coast or the West Coast. So I would say for that up-and-coming artist, just do more traveling. Travel to those different markets, meet the DJs in those different markets, meet the influencers, the promoters in those different markets.
Honestly, I don't feel like there is a gap. There's not a gap. Because what would make us special if we didn't have a specific sound that differentiated from other coasts? How is there a gap? That's all. It's ours. It's our sound. It's not a gap. We sit here and we own it because it's ours. So what is the gap?
Me personally, I feel like
I don't feel like there's a gap.
One of my t-shirts are from Gap, you know. Yeah, we're Gap.
That's what makes us special. East Coast has their sound, West Coast has their sound, even the Midwest. You know?
Yeah.
So that's what makes us special. I don't think it's a gap, but it has influenced a lot of what music is, but there isn't a gap.
If there is a gap, I think New York need to catch up to the South. So.
Oh man,
man.
Those are fighting words.
But I mean, look at A$AP Rocky. He'll tell you all day how much he loves Houston and screw this and screw that, and guess what? His music sounds just like Southern hip hop from Houston.
Stuff my hand in the heart of a dragon, snatch her fist back. I put Saran on these bars. That's a gift wrap, now dig that. Sick as pen, I'm an ill writer. I'm heating up, the monster is out. No will buyer, steel pliers I'm gripping. Lock and loaded position, my rim filled with premonitions. I don't dream, I get visions. On some Cleo shit, the best thing that Dallas seen. Since some T.O. shit, I reload the clip. No matter if you Neo quick. I spread the chicken, now she Neo sick. That girl miss me, let's get these millies for Nefertiti's. I've been a man with the plan. I'm Dr. Doom with Thor's hammer in his hand. Cause low key, Taurus COD on every dope beat. A small town niggas with chicken dillies and show knees and chilling with the homies. I can spot a phony. I can tell just by your fit you eat bologna. I'm killing these niggas like 2012. It's coming, turn the speakers up, the reapers up. Still out here sleeping, huh? Rick Fox waves ain't just deep, now can I preach? You reach, I teach, you eat, I feast, no peace, cause everybody got a piece. When you walk across the street, the cops pop a couple shots. Now you need me how you leaking all over the place. I put this flow in your face. My ice bomb keep me lifted like I'm frozen in space. Controlling my fate, I'm rolling the A.
Stop playing!